Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review. Today we're going to be looking at the Weltool T2, codenamed the Elegant Panther. They do have interesting names for their flashlights. I've used it for over 2 weeks now, and I'm super impressed with the quality and the feel of this light. I think Weltool have squeezed every drop of performance out of the SFT40, and yeah, overall I'll call this a semi-tactical flashlight because there's no shortcut to turbo, but it does have a few other low, medium, high modes, which are very useful, very versatile. This light is designed to be a high candela thrower, which is great, gives it a lot of range, which is my kind of EDC as well. It does come with a low mode too, so if you're using it for short range and just reading up close, it's a practical flashlight for that as well. So yeah, you get an 18650 button top battery with the light. You get a charging cable just over here. It's a micro USB charging cable. You also get the charger, so the battery is charged outside of the flashlight. I'll just show you the battery. So Weltool INR 18-30P. It says here on the side, high drain, 15 amps, 3000 milliamp hour cell, button top. You also get a spare O-ring, as you can see over here, and instruction manual, and you also get a lifetime warranty, and that's something I've only seen on Phoenix flashlights. I don't think any of the other brands offer a lifetime warranty. This is the box that the light comes in, nothing special. So here is a comparison with some of my other tactical flashlights. You've got the Weltool T2 over here, Phoenix PD35, Nightcore MH12SE, Convoy M2, and my Next Torch TA30C. So you can definitely see the T2 is on the smaller end of all these flashlights, very similar in size to the Phoenix PD35, which is basically a slightly longer version of the Convoy S2. So it's a very pocketable flashlight, considering how much power that you get out of this light. It's a tiny little thing to just clip into your pocket. Here's a close-up of the T2, and there's something that just screams military about this light. It's got this rugged and practical design, the knurling especially, low gloss, matte black finish, and yeah, this is a checkered texture as well over the flashlight. The tail cap provides some great grip, no way that's slipping out of your hands. The threads are square cut as well, nice and smooth. Tail cap has this rubber switch, sticks out the back, okay, so definitely it's not going to be able to tail stand. There's also dual springs on the tail cap, underneath the tail cap, okay, so you can see a little bit closer, yeah, okay, dual spring setup, quite a chunky spring as well, beefy sort of spring, and underneath in there as well there is a second spring on the head, and that's really going to help with shock resistance. Got a metal clip under the tail cap right here, so it's a friction ring, and it's gonna make the tail cap stick out of your pocket, okay, for easy access. So it's not a deep carry clip. There's the SFT40 LED underneath the hood, and it sits just around this white gasket, and they're perfectly centered, smooth reflector, anti-reflective glass lens as well. I like this stainless steel bezel, adds a bit more durability as well. It's crenulated, and one thing I find interesting as well and quite useful is just how deep the glass and the reflector actually sits in the light, okay, and it sits a lot deeper than the bezel than my other lights, and it just means that there's less chance of breaking the lens if you had to use that bezel forcefully. Just compare it to my Phoenix here, and you can see what I mean. So that bezel does provide some extra protection. Weltool also use this patented technology on their lights called through-hole cooling. Okay, and you can see it here. There's 6 holes that go directly all the way through the light, just underneath the reflector and the LED. So it must be very close to the heatsink, allows air to circulate through the light itself. And Weltool say that it releases heat, helps to release the heat generated by the LED through convection. There's not much information or data on this technology, and I'd like to see a little bit more of that released by Weltool. Maybe they could have done some tests or shown some tests where they've compared it with a version of this light without the holes as well. But I find it cool that Weltool are trying different innovative technologies here and different designs that could potentially bring out more performance, extended performance out of an LED like the SFT40, which is known to produce a fair bit of heat, especially in a small body like this. So let's go through the UI. There's only 3 modes. So you've got low, medium, and high. Now what you can do, you can half press to access momentary, okay? But you can half press, and that basically goes low, medium, and high. No strobe. As you're half pressing as well, if you full press, then you basically lock in that mode. Okay. The light also has memory mode, which activates after 4 seconds. So for instance, if I want to go low, medium, high, let's go to low. Okay. Turn off the light, wait for a few seconds and click, and you've got low again. So you can go low, medium, high. Yeah, that's the highest mode actually. Lock it in, turn it off. Okay. And after 4 seconds, you switch the light on. You've got access to that highest mode on there. So that's why I sort of mentioned, refer to this light as semi-tactical, because you do have that momentary mode function. Okay, but if, for example, I am just activating that light too quickly, turn it off, turn it back on again, then it goes straight back to that low mode. Okay, so you're going to need to wait that 4 seconds before it memorizes that mode, the mode that you need. There is also a low battery reminder built into this flashlight, so it will start flashing when the battery needs to be charged. So basically when you turn on that light, you'll see a bit of a flashy mode there, and there's also low voltage protection. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit about performance, and I've got a ceiling bounce test here that I ran on high mode, and you can see the light starts off on 100% and it carries on to about 1 minute before it starts completely ramping down to 50% just before the 2-minute mark. It's good that it lasts for a minute on high, but you've got 50% output. That pretty much maintains. It does drop slightly to about 45%, near the 40% mark about after 10 minutes, but it continues on. And I did notice the light did get quite hot during the end of that test as well, near that 16-minute test. This is a second ceiling bounce test that I ran on medium, and you can see here really great performance. It just maintains that 100% output all the way past that 16-minute mark, and there was just a decent warmth coming off the flashlight, but it wasn't uncomfortable at all to hold. I also ran some tests on my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and you can see here on high I got 428 meters of throw. Absolutely impressive for such a small light. It outthrows all of my other lights of this similar kind of size and build. And even on low mode, you get 28 meters of throw. Color rendering index between 65 and 66, nothing impressive there, but is as expected with lights that are more focused on visibility. CCT I got between 5,900 and 6,100, so yeah, pretty much on the money there. 6,000, around about 6,000 K, so it is a cooler sort of beam, and I love the beam. It's got a nice and bright hotspot, decent spill, no artifacts as well, and it's quite difficult to build a flashlight that has a small smooth reflector like that, throws a decent distance, and the beam doesn't look ringy or ugly. So Weltool would have put in a lot of effort to just center this LED and experiment with different types of reflectors at different lengths and sizes in order to get this perfect combination as we have here. So some considerations, this light does get pretty hot in the high mode. So yeah, I'd suggest ramping it down later on, or I think if you're holding it, you're probably going to be okay, but it does get pretty hot, and I can't even hold the head of this flashlight after the 10-12 minute mark. So squeezing out a lot of performance on this flashlight for sure. The second consideration is for those into self-defense and tactical lights. There is no shortcut to high unless you keep it in memory, but as you saw in the demonstration, you need to wait 3 or 4 seconds for it to store that high mode. So it isn't really practical if you need to activate and deactivate, reactivate turbo very quickly, you know, within 1 second intervals. So yeah, this is more suited as a general tactical style EDC. But the good news, the great news, is that Weltool also have a variant of this flashlight which costs the same amount. It's the T2 TAC, and that addresses that issue and allows you to have access, permanent access to high from the tail switch. That model also has a hidden low mode, so 2 modes, pretty simple. I think it would be nice if Weltool actually incorporated a tactical and daily mode in their UIs. I know it might complicate things a little, but in my experience, it does make that light more versatile. And yeah, you can just leave it on 1 mode forever if that suits you better. And finally, a little nitpicky, but there is a bit of battery rattle, but only if you tap the light. Not noticeable in everyday use, as you can see. I really can see how some people swear by Weltool. This light has all the hallmarks of an excellent quality flashlight. Things that stuck out to me were the simplicity of the UI, no thinking involved, and it's good that it still allows access to some lower modes, especially because it's quite high candela. One thing I noticed about Weltool is that they have really specific purposes for each of their lights, and they double down on that rather than trying to make the lights, you know, types of lights that can do it all but end up being a jack of all trades. So if you're looking for a great quality throwy EDC, semi-tactical EDC, definitely recommend checking this one out. I'll put a link in the description for a couple of places that you can get them straight from the Weltool website or also from lightshop.com.au. So if you have any comments, any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I'm sure I'm probably missed something out here or there. And if you found this video helpful, do me a favor and click the like button, as it helps me get my videos out to more people. Finally, if you want to see me make more reviews, make sure you subscribe. Weltool T2, and we're going to start this one off on the lowest mode. Really can't see too much. I mean, maybe 10 meters up ahead, 5-10 meters max. Okay, second mode. Whoa, look at that beam. It's even on that second mode, I can see all the way down to the back of those trees. It's tinting off some of those trees. Got a decent amount of spill here on the ground as well. Makes easy work of anything in the mid-ground. There's trees up. And I like how there's just enough spill as well. Turbo. Wow. And no trouble at all. Hitting those trees out the back. Like perfect visibility. You can see everything that's going on there. And the beam is just such a clean, round looking beam. Good amount of spill too. Just move it up a bit closer. Let's see how all these little shrubs and grasslands up the front. Trees here to the right. Okay. Let's ramp down and around about a minute. Well, at the moment it feels pretty okay. It doesn't feel too hot at all.
just keep it on this mode for a while and see what happens. I can see a slight reduction in brightness, overall brightness. He's handling the heat quite well, though it is a cool sort of night. Okay, low, medium, high. Yeah. Another kick as soon as you turn it back on to turbo, but the driver should pick up, sensor should pick up the extra heat and immediately start ramping down. But wow, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Such a small bezel as well. This thing throws further than so many of my other flashlights that are, you know, 2 times the size, even heavier as well. So it does pack a punch for its size. I love the throw to size ratio, if that's even a thing. Low, medium, high. It's kind of difficult to even tell when it ramps down because it does it so slowly. Weltool T2